as he goes up and catches it.
If you make it, you're in a position to win. Gonna go for two here. He's going for two. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win.
Caught him! One-handed catch as he goes up and catches it.
Okay, episode 94, going for two. We got Rick back, old friend with us. Couldn't just have one person attacking Kalen on this show. Had to bring in a second. Rick's wearing.
Is that what it was?
beautiful...
I thought we had such friendly banter earlier this week that we just decided to have him on this week too.
Yeah, no, it actually is what it is. You know, I jumped on the Slick Rick of All Sports podcast with him on Tuesday. We decided let's keep this conversation rolling on Thursday and get a little bit of football content out. So, Rick, appreciate you joining us. How you feeling?
That's a big mute there, Ricky.
Rick.
You're all muted.
I think Rick might be on mute there.
He's on mute. Yes, there is. My first barbecue here. Yes, it's been crazy driving around. The roads were crazy, but I'm excited to talk football. It's been a couple months for me, so.
Yeah, man, it's Christmas season, Christmas time. We're getting down to playoff crunch time here. Got an absolutely huge Thursday night game that I think Kalen might have a word or two about. So we'll give the floor to him for a second and let's see what Kalen has to say.
Well, I got the two-tone blue lights behind me. I got the picture of AJ up behind me too because he got activated today. We're going to need a big game out of him. I didn't know if he was going to play. So behind me up here, we had Julio and we had Tannehill. And I think, man, honestly, I don't know, Rick, if you had seen the opportunity with the injury report, but Luan's not playing, Saffold's not playing. The left side of the line is going to be a mess tonight.
So you're saying Ryan Tannehill's going to have another terrible game then?
What I'm saying is it's all going to be slant, go is all it's going to be, I think, the whole game. So I'm excited. It's a Thursday night matchup, regardless of being a Titans fan or not. This is a good primetime matchup to have. The tail end of the season, they typically tend to get a little bit better. The first half of the season, they're freaking horrible. So we've had a good couple last ones. So let's keep it going, right?
Well, and like I said to you, I have a feeling tonight about the Titans. Normally, I wouldn't be on your side with this one tonight, but the 49ers got to go on the road, short week, all the way across the country. I told you this is the Titans over kind of game. Take the Titans.
I'm
take
nervous
the over.
about it. I know.
Take the points of your
take the points of your skin. Right?
Well, it's like you say,
I think it's easy.
The Titans seem to always play to their competition, and the 49ers are pretty hot right now, so playing well. So I expect them to put up a really good fight against them tonight. But I still think the 49ers are taking it, but we'll see.
Such an ass.
Well,
you come on my show and you
it.
trash talk. I thought I was going to get away from this. I thought I was going to have two guys in my corner this week, and no.
That was the furthest from trash talk. That was the furthest from trash talk. But how was your run defense? Because I'm not aware of how good the run defense is.
The front seven is good. The front seven is good.
How's my run defense? Yeah.
They had Najee Harris guessing, running all over the field. Basically frustrated to a point that he didn't make a single play in that game. No. 12. I think he had 12 carries for like 16 yards, and ultimately, the best offensive player for the Steelers in that game was Ryan Tannehill turning the ball over, and that was the win there.
But I will listen. I know we're not gonna talk about it tonight. We'll talk about Pro Bowl snubs down the road. But there's somebody that's incredibly pissed off about being snubbed, and he talked about it today. Who's playing tonight? It's Jeffrey Simmons. Shane, I know that you have seen him, and I know that you do like him now after you seeing him firsthand. And he put up the picture today of a lion with a bloody face and said, like, I've never felt so disrespected. So he's going to come out angry. He's got a point to prove. At primetime, this is the time to do it. We need our defense to step up. If he had had a few more, I think, pressures on Ben Roethlisberger last week, I think things would have been a little bit different. So we do need a big game from him this week.
Yeah, and for the Titans, I just don't think they get enough exposure on national TV. And I mean, definitely with Derrick Henry, it wasn't the Jim Nantz show following you guys around this year. No one's signing up to watch Ryan Tannehill games. Like, as much as that hurts your feelings, it's all good. When it comes down to it, we're going to count down to this game. We're going to give lots of time to talk about this game and break it down. But let's get to these 3 games that we had for Monday night, Tuesday night football, or I guess 4 games, which is pretty interesting that we only had to take yesterday off for a little breather from football, but now we're back at it. First game, obviously, for Rick, the Browns fell short. We could blame it on COVID. We can blame it on their quarterback situation, but I think overall the Raiders did what they needed to do to win the game at the end.
Yeah, for sure. Like, play a third-string quarterback, you expect to win, obviously, but we made it a little bit tighter than it needed to be. But that's what we've been doing all year, We just can't seem to play 4 quarters of football, and that's been the killer for us. There's always one quarter that totally gets away from us, and it's usually made us lose. You start a season 5-2, and then you're 8-8. It's very discouraging. But at the same time, we did make some big plays, and Derek Carr, no matter what you say about him, he has that ability to put together a game-winning drive. He's done it. I think it's his 28th or 29th fourth quarter winning drive now. So we've seen him do it before. Zay Jones, like, Jesus, thank God for him, because he's just come out of nowhere, and he's just been his number 1 target for the most part without Darren Waller. Like, our offense is just so beat up. So it's nice to see him emerge and, make some big plays for us. And, to get it done without Darren Waller, I really don't think we have a chance to win ever without Darren Waller. So it keeps us in the playoff hunt and kept me happy, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, the playoff hunt in the AFC is pretty wild. And, obviously, it doesn't seem like the Titans are one of those teams that are fighting for a wild card spot right now. A lot would have to happen. And I reassured Kalen that I still believe that the Titans are going to win the South, even with the way that the hot Colts are playing. Win or lose tonight, it's not going to matter, because I think that the Cardinals are going to beat the shit out of the Colts on Saturday.
Well, yeah, we're just talking about the Raiders, and we could do you a huge favor, right? Because we play the Colts in a couple of weeks as well. And that's the crazy thing about the Raiders is our last 3 games are against 3 teams that we're either tied with or that are ahead of us. So with Denver, the Chargers,
playoff football for the next
Colts.
5 weeks.
It is. Next 3 weeks are all playoff games for us. But if we were able to somehow win all 3 of them, or even 2 out of 3 of them, we could still see us in the playoffs there in that 7th spot. But that's wishful thinking. But I'm hoping it happens.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the wild card's jumbled up right now, I went to the ESPN playoff machine just to kind of see, like, let's play this out. Let's see how things could go. Let's find out a path and an avenue for the Steelers to get into this thing. And it really starts this week. And you would think that starts with the Steelers beating the Chiefs, but the first thing that needs to happen is the Ravens need to beat the Bengals. That is the biggest thing that keeps the door open for the AFC North. And, I mean, we're going to get into that game a little bit. But what about a team like the Vikings? The start that they've had, it seems like every year they have this.
Always.
But I mean, Kirk Cousins is playing a lot better. Justin Jefferson is emerging as maybe one of the best receivers in the league right now. Dalvin Cook, who looks like he got hit with the vid today, so he's probably not going to play this week. But they've gotten themselves back into this thing. Yeah, it seems like this cutting Bashaud Breeland was maybe something that pulled the team together, and they feel like a team that might be dangerous down the stretch.
Well, yeah, like whether Cook's playing or not, like Madison comes in and it seems like he has a serviceable game every time that he's in there anyways, and they're playing without Thielen still too. And like if they get Thielen back, like the offense is very dangerous, and yeah, like I wouldn't want to play them in the first round of the playoffs. That's for sure.
Well, that's just what you mentioned right there, Thielen, right? If you don't listen, they triple teamed Jefferson last week. We saw that. That was crazy. They did the same thing to Devontae Adams too. They had 3 people standing right over top of him, like within 15 yards. So that offense can certainly chug through Jefferson. But I don't care how talented you are. there's not many Randy Mosses that can take triple coverage and make a catch out of it every single time. So
Yeah,
I know that we want to call him Randy 2.0. I just without Dalvin Cook this week, it's if he does not play, and it looks like he isn't going to play. It's a tall order. It's a tall ask, I think, of somebody like Kirk Cousins to put together a game with simply only Justin Jefferson being triple teamed up the field. So defense is going to have to ball out again there too, and I don't know if they're going to have it. Unfortunately, the offense
he's putting up numbers that only Randy Moss and Jerry Rice has put up. So I'm pretty sure they could chug right through that train. Just keep giving them the damn ball.
yeah, and look, I mean, the Vikings. Every time you count them out, they seem like they're the team that just climbs their way back into this thing. And
well,
no
exactly.
No lead is safe with them, and no lead is safe on them, from what I can tell.
Well, do you also feel that a lot of the throws that Kirk Cousins makes, that Jefferson makes, would have been picked in the past? Like, like there's a lot of throws that he's coming down with that Kirk is just kind of playing Kirk Cousins 500, and Jefferson seems to be coming down with it. So I don't have any reason to think that he's not going to keep doing that. But yeah, getting Thielen back would be absolutely huge for him.
Yeah, and I mean Thielen coming back, and if you have a healthy Dalvin Cook, but when you look back at that trade, that Diggs trade to Buffalo. It's hard to imagine a more fair trade for both sides, right? I mean, Buffalo gets Diggs, and consequently, the Vikings end up getting Jefferson in the draft. I don't think that either one of those fan bases thinks that they need the other player to win games, and pretty amazing to see like a trade actually work out for both sides.
For sure. Well, yeah. At first, I think they were upset with it because Stephon Diggs was just going off at first, but that didn't take long for Jefferson to do what he's doing. So yeah, in the long run, it definitely worked out to be a really fair trade for both teams.
Well, and imagine a guy like Justin Jefferson playing in college with Joe Burrow, and on the other side they had Jamar Chase.
That's disgusting.
It kind of seems unfair, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And Joe Burrow,
they probably should have won the national championship.
At least Joe Burrow put up numbers. Unlike that Ole Miss quarterback that had AJ and DK, somehow it's still with like negative in the touchdown to interception ratio there.
Yeah, well, I think that quarterback ended up transferring to Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was Shea Patterson.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
And he stunk.
So the writing was on the wall when Corral came in.
Oh, I mean, Corral was a transfer from Florida. I mean, that guy was a highly recruited, highly touted guy that just gave up on the Gators, which it seems like everyone gives up on the Gators, except for me tonight, because I, for some reason, stupidly bet them at -7.5 against Central Florida, because it's bowl season, boys. We're on Christmas vacation. Let's have a little bit of fun.
The Union Bowl, right? Is that what that's on tonight?
Oh, it's it's the Union Home Mortgage Bowl. Yeah, hey, we're out here. We need to do something until the game starts. So we might as well sprinkle a little bit of fun. I might have had a little bit on Miami of Ohio this afternoon.
Oh my God, really?
Look at you go.
Hey, we're on Christmas vacation, boys. And
Yes,
Miami of Ohio won, so we're in a good spot right now. But let's talk. We talked about trades. We talked about how it worked out for Minnesota, how it worked out for Buffalo. How about the team that's traded the most in the NFL over the last 3 years, which is the Rams? They have clawed their way back into this thing when they looked pretty lifeless at times and are now in a tie with the Cardinals. I believe that the Cardinals would hold the tiebreaker just based on division record. But how are we feeling about the Rams at this point?
Listen, today they go and they announced that the Cam Akers is designated to return. Are you kidding me? Cam Akers, that is a dangerous team. They've been missing their running game the entire year, and Cam Akers is certainly an element to that team that brings an element to the team that they haven't had all year. I don't care what they brought with Sony Michel and then with Darrell Henderson trying to make whatever they can out of that kid too. Cam Akers a different player for them. That's a scary team. You get to the playoffs, the defense is playing the way that they are, and Matt Stafford, he throws the ball, he airs it out every single time. Your defense is going to get gassed by the fourth quarter. Your corners are tired, man. You're covering all damn day playing those wide receivers. You're going to be tired. And it seems like as much as we want to harp on OBJ, he's kind of slid himself into a nice little slot there, right? He seems like he's playing very freely and he's coming down with possession catches. And I don't know. I think he's going to be a playmaker here in the playoffs. I certainly think that's a guy that kind of shows up on the stage.
For an OBJ to go to the Rams, it is a good spot. I mean, we criticized the trade, we criticized the signing, we criticized the move for him. It didn't make a lot of sense. But from the onset of that trade to the Browns, it made him a leader in the locker room. for 3 guys that have never sat in a locker room with OBJ, I think that we can very convincingly say that he's not the leader of the locker room. He can't be the head of the household. That's not his role. He's a great player. He's just not the kind of guy to keep people up and motivated. You go to a locker room like the Rams, he doesn't have to be that anymore. You have Stafford. You have Donald. You have Von Miller.
You screw up once, you got Aaron Donald breathing down your neck. I don't think anybody wants that teammate or not, right?
Yeah. So it was a good spot because he can be a superstar on a high leverage team and still not have the weight of the world on his shoulders when they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another thing about him too is, you can see the guy's passionate. Like I saw a pretty funny meme on Facebook about, when OBJ throws a tablet on the sideline, he's a diva, but when Tom Brady does it, it's passion.
Yeah.
So that one was good.
Did you hear Tom Brady's comment about that?
No.
He said he didn't want to throw an interception, so he made sure to throw that damn thing into the ground.
Well, good thing it was still a Windows Surface or whatever the hell they're called. Like,
yeah. Hey,
but I wanted to touch on
things are money.
I want to touch on Stafford real quick though, because this is something I've kind of said since the beginning of the year, even when we talked about it very first day. And he went through that stretch of amazingness, and then we started to see some Detroit Lions and Matt Stafford, and he went through a good 3-game stretch there where it looked kind of rough. It looks like he's got himself out of it again, but when it comes down to it for me, I still don't trust the guy. I know he's a great quarterback, but when it comes crunch time, like I said at the beginning of the year, he's lost his whole career. I don't think this guy knows how to win, and I think when the games are on the line, they're going down. That's why I still don't trust him. That's all.
So if you were, so in that division, you have Kyler, you have Stafford, and you have Garoppolo. If you had to trust one of those quarterbacks in that division, which one's it going to be? Because it looks like all 3 of them are on a course to make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I'd still put him at the top of I guess his prowess is great, but I would still take Kyler Murray if I had the choice right now. I know it's been a bit rough with D-Hop out, but that's a huge thing to figure out when you lose that guy. They gotta find other ways to make offense. But I must like Stafford. I could see him play great the whole game, and then when the game's on the line in the last 3 minutes, throw a pick or something. So that's just the way I kind of feel about him. But if I had to choose between the 3 of them, I'd be going. I guess can't even take Russell Wilson because he just sucks now. But like Kyler Murray, I would still take Kyler Murray.
And they're about to have their first losing season in, I think it was 9 years or something like that, right?
It's like since Pete Carroll came, isn't it?
Yes, it's since 2011.
It could very well be. Yeah.
And then now it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs are the next highest. They're the next most winning seasons in a row.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the Steelers, bro. I'm pretty sure.
Most winning seasons in a row?
Mike Tomlin has been the head coach of the Steelers for 16 years, and they've never had a losing season.
Maybe the Chiefs are second then.
When you're stacking, look that up.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like an ESPN report, then I believe that they would be like dick riding the Chiefs. But like it's 100% the Steelers, and they need one win this year to keep that going. But let's see how that goes. Let's take it one at a take it one at a time. Yeah, where's our Kornacki? Let's dig a little bit deeper into the Thursday night football because there was a thing that was brought out today, and it was probably only towards Steelers fans, but it involves one of the quarterbacks in the game, and it's not the one you're thinking, Kalen, but there is a strong feeling among NFL executives that Jimmy Garoppolo will be the quarterback of the Steelers next year.
Wow.
Oh, I haven't read anything about that.
How do you feel about that? This is a better question.
Well, if I had to pick between the handsome Jimmy G or the handsome Mason Rudolph, I think that I'm going to go with Jimmy G. I don't know. I think I trust
just based on looks, or
well, both good-looking guys. I don't know where Jimmy G is right now, but I know that Mason Rudolph's with Genie Bouchard. So I mean, you got to trust his decision making.
Are you kidding me?
No,
is he really?
No, I'm 100%. Yeah, I mean, this guy has great decision making, but
she's like one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, doesn't translate onto the field, and I don't know. Like, as a bridge quarterback, you pick this guy up. He's what, like 27, maybe 28.
Oh, he's exactly the kind of guy you guys want. You guys always like to have game managers, and Ben's obviously become way more than that in his career. But early on, that's what he was. He was a game manager, and you won a Super Bowl with him doing that. And that's the way they like to play football. If they could get Jimmy G, I'm sure that they do great with him because they get that run game going with Najee, and you get a guy in there that's pretty responsible with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a perfect spot for him to go, really. So
and
that'd be good.
He's I think relatively close to the air. I'm pretty sure he's from like Delaware or something like that. Don't quote
Delaware.
Me on that,
Who wants to go to Delaware?
Yeah.
Blaze World.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I mean, this is the guy. He's playing tonight. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm assuming that the 49ers are in their all whites. I kind of wanted to wait until base my decision on what uniforms the 49ers are wearing, but I don't know. Like I said, Tennessee, or they're in Nashville. It's Christmas time. I just have a weird feeling that the Titans are going to win this one in a weird way, is what I said to Kalen before we came on here. But Kalen, break this game down a little bit further.
Hold on. Before we go too far, I had a chance to look it up.
I don't want to put the ultimate jinx on you.
What was the Steelers record 2 years ago?
2 years ago?
I looked it up.
I don't know, like 13-3 or something like that?
No, they're 8-8. So they didn't have a winning season that year. That's why they didn't fall.
So not losing.
It wasn't losing, but it wasn't considered a winning season. That's why the Chiefs are the number one right now.
That was the exact same thing that the Seahawks just lost, though. Just so you know.
What do you mean?
They lost non-consecutive losing seasons. It wasn't winning seasons.
Most consecutive winning seasons right now, the Seattle Seahawks have 9 since 2012. I'm looking at the stat right now. Most consecutive winning seasons. Number 2 was the Chiefs with 8, and then now we are number 2 with 5.
Yeah, number 2, going for 2.
That's right.
Mike
I will say
has been the coach there for 16 years. Has never had a team under 500.
He had a team at 500 though. That's the problem, Shane.
Yeah,
semantics. I know I'm splitting hairs, but it's semantics.
I think you had a few ties in there too.
Yeah. Well,
this year has there been any more ties in a season than this year? I think, or more like. Really, honestly,
there was a few years back where there was 3 ties. I'm pretty sure. Actually,
yeah.
I wonder what the record is for most overtimes in a year.
Tied like somebody.
Because even like this year,
I remember the Bengals.
Anybody? The Bengals, okay.
But I want to shout out quick on the game here because I just won my league's fantasy football championship because they screwed up. No, I haven't won yet. I'm in the finals this weekend. Because the guy messed it up and didn't extend the playoff week to next week, right?
Okay.
Because he forgot to change it. But either way, I've been ravaged by injuries, but still made my way to the finals. And I have A.J. Brown on the bench. And to hear that he was coming out tonight to play for me in the finals was huge. So I'll be watching that really intently. And I have Madison as well, and with Cook going out. So I just had 2 guys just get injected into my lineup for like 18 points apiece, hopefully. So that was awesome.
This probably feels like the TO in the Super Bowl for you.
Pretty much, yeah. It's the same kind of deal, yeah. And the fact that there's no one else really to throw to there, like, hopefully he is actually ready to go and they're feeding him the ball because I hope he's not like 70% and he's just out there as a decoy.
I'll take a 70%.
Kalen said he practiced in full all week, so I don't know, man. I think he's 100.
Okay, good.
Plus,
good. Yeah. That's awesome.
He missed 5 games on the 3-game DL, right? Like, it didn't make any sense.
4 because he had the bye too, right? So stupid how they did that.
But it's just important to me to see how Ryan Tannehill plays this week when he has him back in the lineup because I know he hasn't had a lot of people to throw to and his lines would beat up, but I've heard that his whole career. So get it together. Like you need to have a big game.
Last 2 years. Whole career.
Yeah, you got carried by a running back, and when he wasn't around, you lost.
33-7. Now this game, what I'm excited for, and not being a Titans fan, if I want to look at the other team, what I'm excited for, I am excited because I haven't watched a lot of San Francisco games outside of the highlights after the game to see how they actually utilize Debo and in real game time too. Like if they are getting shut down in a certain way, how do they utilize him differently? Do they start slotting him out wide? Do they keep him in the backfield? Do they start running swing passes to him? What is the opportunity for him? Because obviously that player right now, him and Kittle have probably got to share between 20 and 25 touches between the two of them right now for them to be successful on offense, right? Brandon, you can certainly take the top off of a defense and maybe be that 1 for 60.
Where has he been though? Like God, that guy was supposed to be so good this year. He's just just a ghost.
Last 3 weeks he's been
the last
this is when he's going. But like so is Debo. right? Debo was supposed he got hurt. Again, I'm not going to fault him for being hurt or anything, but it took him a long time to figure something out in that Shanahan offense as well. Maybe they're just finally figuring out how to use these kids. There aren't big receivers, and realistically, like Debo does certainly have a hell of. I think he's leading right now the league in yak, but he has amazing run after catch ability. But you got to get him the ball first. Unfortunately, he doesn't I don't see him being the best route runner. You get him the ball in open field or not, he's certainly going to get another 5 to 10 yards or more. But you got to get him the ball first. And that's the difficulty I think they're having right now. And that's why, hey, okay, we'll just put it in his hands then. Put it in the hands about 5 yards behind the field or do a swing pass out to him and just let him do work with it. I think that's a successful season for them.
Well, the fact that the guy's like 220 pounds and plays receiver is unreal.
Yeah. That's what that's me. You can utilize him inside, outside, but he's not going to be that out wide receiver that manhandles. And I think that I can say the Titans sometimes ask AJ to do that stuff that he shouldn't be doing either. To be that speed slot or speed receiver on the outside, sometimes you got to let him get inside and use the muscle, use what he's got, right?
Well, yeah, and as for money, Ayuk hasn't even gone over 70 yards receiving in the last 3 weeks, so that's not money in my books.
Well, he's eating up the catches and getting touchdowns. So that
I don't know.
He scored the touchdown that won the game in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's his only touchdown in his last 4 games, sorry. But I'm just saying he was supposed to be way better than this. That's all I'm saying. He was showing a whole bunch of ramp up last year, and then came into the camp overweight or something. And
he was on the trading block this season, eh?
Until the receivers got hurt.
Moved him. Yeah.
I expected more from him, but they're a pure running team anyways. There's not a huge amount of targets that go on in that offense anyways. So yeah, like you're saying, it's going to be so totally scooped up right now by Kittle and Debo. And God, I cannot believe how fast George Kittle is. Like, you watch this guy. It's holy shit for a tight end, man. This guy can move. I know he's amazing, but I watched him last week and God, you can't believe how fast he is. It's incredible.
And Nashville's his home too, right? That's where he lives. I don't know if he's originally from there, but that's where he lives in the offseason.
That's where he did the tight end university, right? Tight end U.
I have no idea, but I know that's where he lives in the offseason. And what's his the guy from the Packers that got himself hurt? He was his roommate for a couple years in Nashville too.
Oh, really?
Tunyon.
Tunyon. Yeah, he's another guy too that you thought was going to have a big year, and Jesus, he just started off so slow. I haven't even heard his name. I don't know if he's injured or not.
Well, he blew his knee out.
He's been on the IR for a few weeks now. They got Dragma, I think, is their tight end over there in Green Bay, which
the Dragma Queen.
I think it's something like that. Dragma. Let's move to that Packers Browns game that's coming up Sunday. Baker Mayfield still sits on the vid list. We're talking Christmas Day, Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers, who in my eyes has done enough to move himself to be the front runner for the MVP at this point. Is there any hope for Cleveland in this? Are we looking at the same old Brownies or what?
Well, if they don't have their Baker Mayfield, they definitely don't have a chance. Because if we beat them, then Green Bay's definitely beating them.
Well, Baker Mayfield in or out? I mean, the spread right now is 7.5. Do you think that the line moves, whether it's Nick Mullins, Case Keenum, or Baker Mayfield here? I think it stays the same either way.
Oh, I think it moves a couple points. It has to. With Baker Mayfield back in. This guy's a third-string quarterback. He's played 3 games in the last 2 years. I can't see how it wouldn't move. But I'm not saying they would win. I'm just saying I could see it going 6.5, maybe under a touchdown. But I don't know. I'm just saying without him in the lineup, they have absolutely zero chance. That's all I'm saying. Maybe they have a 5% chance with him in there.
If they can find a way to grind out drives and have 10-minute drives, running the ball, Chubb, if they can get Hunt back, I don't know. There's a chance, I guess. But
the defense is always there. The defense is always there. But Aaron Rodgers, when you have a defense on the field, as long as they have been leaving their defense on the field, Aaron Rodgers will figure any defense out if you're out there that long. So
it would take a lot for a visiting team to go into a stadium on Christmas Day and win, in my opinion. And the Browns don't have the firepower. They don't have history on their side as far as wins, losses versus Green Bay. And they definitely don't have anything the Browns players aren't sitting in the hotel on Friday night, Christmas Eve, thinking, wow, this is so cool that our family's not here. And we're about to go get the shit kicked out of us in the freezing cold for 4 hours. This is so cool.
Yeah, well, crazier things have happened though. We know that, right? So maybe the Christmas spirit will spark them a little bit.
Listen, the Ravens pushed the Packers to the brink too, right? Like any given game can happen. I'm not going to say that the Ravens are that far beyond the Browns, especially with how injured they are and who they were playing in that game. So anything can happen for sure. Especially if you have shitty weather, inclement weather. Listen, I know Rodgers can play in that kind of stuff. He's played in it for years. But if it's shitty or it's really, really bad out there and it comes down to the running game, they both have really good running games. It could just simply come down to who has the ball last, who's kicking the field goal. And I'm going to probably trust Green Bay's kicker over Cleveland's kicker in shitty weather, unfortunately for the Browns.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope so. Yeah, I mean, when it really comes down to it, the weather would probably go against the backup quarterback, and like with no disrespect to Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, they aren't used to playing in Green Bay's weather. I'm pretty sure that AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones can handle it. I don't know. It might be a good game. I just don't see it. I think that this is going to be one of those like quick appetizers before the main event, which happens around 8:00 on Christmas.
What's the main event?
We got the Cardinals and the Colts.
Is that what we're hopping into right now?
Well, yeah, just before that, I did look up the weather. It's only supposed to be 1 degree and sunny there, so I don't think we're going to be dealing with a lot of bad weather there. So it's probably just going to be a little chilly, but I don't think it's going to be.
The only cold playoff space in the entire NFC right now, and on Christmas Day, they can't have a shitty inclement weather game. Wow.
I know.
Imagine we go through the whole playoffs and it's just nice weather. Well, not nice, but like decent weather the whole way through. Green Bay doesn't even have it.
The day before was 7 degrees, so yeah, like if it stays like that, then it's still not playoff time yet. So
dome football weather, right?
This whole year for the Cleveland Browns fans has just been the ghost of Christmas past, and they've started 3 different quarterbacks this year. After all the bullshit that Cleveland fans have gone through, this was their year. This was their chance. Look, some people just aren't meant to play in Super Bowls. Ask Detroit fans. Yeah. Ask Browns fans. Like they're not allowed to play in the Super Bowl.
What have the Browns made the playoffs like once since they came back into the league in '94?
Well, they had the
99. Yeah, okay, so twice since '99, I think they've been in. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like teams in Ohio, outside of Ohio State, suck in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Period.
Not a very exciting city out here. So.
When was the last time an Ohio team won a playoff game? Like in Ohio?
Probably the Cavs.
Cavs, yeah. I was gonna say LeBron.
yeah, so LeBron James. So yeah, whatever. Plenty of
and
time.
Even he had to leave.
Columbus. Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe Columbus.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean, look, I've been.
Columbus.
I actually don't think it's as bad of a city as people think it is, but they definitely suck at sports.
The Hall of Fame is there. You gotta give it some credit as a state.
The Hall of for music?
For football is in Ohio. It's 20 minutes away from Cleveland.
Like, okay.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's where they go to die, apparently.
Well, you said hockey. That was funny when Columbus beat Tampa Bay. It's 4-0. That was 2 years ago before they won the cup. That was like the best win that Columbus Blue Jackets have ever had.
Yeah.
And never again.
But touching on the shitty city thing though, because that clip by Joe Burrow was great. He's like, "Oh, Cincinnati's not exactly the best place to be, or funnest place to be, or anything. So it's not like we're going out partying or anything. We're just sitting around doing nothing."
and did you see Chad Johnson's rebuttal about that?
No, I didn't.
I'm sure that guy had some fun. I mean, that guy definitely didn't hurt himself. And
let me make sure I find it and give him the proper quote. Something about how he named. Oh yeah, Joe Burrow said there's not much to do in Cincinnati. I beg to differ. There's a Starbucks downtown, a McDonald's in Covington, and an Owen Charlie's in Tri-County, which in fact is the best complimentary bread known to man. All Chad Johnson did when he played in Cincinnati was eat all the time. Apparently, huh?
Apparently at McDonald's. Yeah. Wonderful.
No, it's like Starbucks and the McDonald's is still.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's a former Cincinnati player that moved on to Arizona. I'm sure AJ Green is happy to be in Arizona over Cincinnati, especially probably this time of the year. The Cardinals have been absolute dog shit the last 2 weeks. The Colts have been pretty dominant and with the exception of a couple of mistakes against the Titans and a couple of mistakes against the Bucks, they might be unbeaten in their last 10, 8, whatever it was.
They're the longest stretch, I think now, the longest winning streak.
Yeah, they have the longest winning streak. They have a guy on their team that is a non-quarterback that has an opportunity to win an MVP. But I think that they're going to get the shit kicked out of them this week. I don't know why. Yeah, they're a really good team going on the road on Christmas Day in Arizona, completely across the country, completely different time zone. Everything's going to be messed up. I don't think that the Colts players' families are traveling with them. And I'm not saying that you can't win or you can't celebrate Christmas before or after. However they're doing it, it doesn't really make a difference. But there's still something about it. They're going to be on different time zones. They're going to be waking up for Eastern time zone Christmas, video chats with their family. They are not going to be ready to play, and the Cardinals are going to kick the shit out of them.
One of those where they're going to wake up at 7 a.m. thinking it's like 10 kind of thing. And they're just going to have all day to sit there and think about the ass kicking coming their way. It's like when dad goes in, go to the room and think about what you did before I come up there and punish you, right?
Kalen, you are about to you know this. You have kids. Your kids are going to be banging on your door at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. in Indy is 3 a.m. in Arizona. That is going to be tough sledding. They are not going to be ready.
There's no door knocker on that face chat.
Yeah, look, you can nap all you want, but there's nothing that beats a good night's sleep. And you wake up at 3 a.m. and you might crack open a bottle of wine. Some of these boys might be cooked before it even starts.
Well, I hope it's just a good game because we're fortunate to have 2 games on Christmas. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope it's a good game. I hope they lose. I can't stand Carson Wentz. You guys all know how I feel about him. It just disgusts me that he's doing well. Just disgusts me. It's like the guy just got a free pass. He gets to go play for a team with a guy that's rushed for 17 touchdowns, 1,600 yards, and just riding the coattails. Yeah, he's making good plays, but I can't stand the guy, and I hope he gets his ass kicked this weekend.
Well, yeah, I mean, and look at the guy James Conner. Goes to Arizona, what a story that no one's really talking about. But if you've seen the back version of these guys playing, Kyler Murray's standing there as their quarterback, and James Conner looks like a creative player on Madden. He is so much bigger than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he's weird the way he's built, too. He's just he actually looks like a Madden player. The way they just pop up and down on a stick.
When he's looking at you like face to face, you can see his back. I don't even know how that's possible. His back has absorbed his ribs. His back is around him.
He surprises me, man. Good for him because I was wrong about him. I didn't think he was going to do half as good as he's done, and he looks faster than he did. I guess maybe he's really banged up those last year or so in Pittsburgh because he just looks a lot quicker than he did in Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean,
for sure.
Listen, who's the center in Arizona, Ricky? You know who it is. You know who it is, right? Rodney Hudson.
Was it?
Rodney Hudson.
Yes.
One of the best centers in the NFL over the last decade, I would say, is Rodney Hudson. And James Conner's been asked a lot to go up the middle. And who's making those holes is Rodney Hudson and whoever's the guard beside him. And if you have the communication that Hudson can provide to the quarterback, provide to the line as far as blocking strategy and protections and everything, that might be a big reason as to why James Conner is playing so well. Is you got those guards up front and that center who's doing that for him. The holes get bigger, buddy. They certainly do. Listen, we both know, I'm not going to sit here and try to harp on the Steelers. We both know this offensive line has not been their strength for a couple of years now.
Well, look, I mean, their offensive line was okay like last year and the year before that. Conner just couldn't stay on the field.
Yeah, he was always hurt. And I also say, though, he has 31 catches this year, too, which is, it's pretty impressive as well. So,
yeah, I mean, look, I mean, he was running behind guys that are probably going to be in the Hall of Fame in Pittsburgh. And if you have a banged up shoulder, you just can't stay on the field. It's just, it's unfortunate, but that's one of the body parts you can't play through.
Oh, yeah, especially as your running back.
Yeah. And
ask Delvin
for
Cook.
a guy,
yeah, exactly. Well, and I have what's his name on Chase Edmonds in fantasy as well, and even when he was in there, he was just stealing touches from him all over the place, right? So
Dalvin Cook and James Conner play the running back position a little different. One of them is trying to hit somebody. The other one is too fast for anybody to touch. So I get what you're saying, and it's a good point because he's been playing with the shoulder sling forever. But I don't know, man. I love James Conner. If I were to tell you that you could spend $6 million in free agency on a 1-year deal and get 19 touchdowns out of somebody, you would assume it was a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Well, considering they got him and AJ Green for a bag of chips and a Walmart gift card, as Richard would say. And AJ Green, just 700 yards and 3 touchdowns. And
say it again. Say it again. Is he washed up?
Is he washed up? Who?
AJ Green. Remember the last time you were on here, we talked about AJ and Christian Kirk and the trio down there that you guys wanted to make fun of me for. I think they had a pretty good year.
No,
this year.
You said that he's better than Antonio Brown, and
that's what the argument was.
That wasn't the argument. That Ricky
yes, it was.
AJ was washed up, and I said he's not washed.
Well, it started with you saying that I would take him over Antonio Brown still, and I guess at this point it was a good decision because Antonio Brown's just an idiot as always. So.
Well, Antonio Brown was making crafts with crayons, trying to protocols.
Trying to make up his vaccine thing with a bunch of crayons. This looks good, eh, Mom?
Yeah.
But either way, shout out to them. It was a good signing. So.
Yeah, look, I mean, Antonio Brown is going to be back on the field solely by the fact that Godwin is out, Evans is out, and Lenny is out. So whether he writes it in crayon or writes it in pen. He
or
will
blood.
be in the lineup on Sunday. Yeah.
He'll kill it.
Now, Steelers and Chiefs. Opening line was 10.5 to the Chiefs. Look, I'm a realist. I'm not sitting here telling you that I think that the Steelers are going to go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. Now, the last time they were there, they did, but that's beyond the point. It is interesting to think that Ben Roethlisberger and Patrick Mahomes have only played each other one time, and it was 3 years ago. That's kind of hard to believe with the way that both of them kind of float around the top of the AFC there. But no Travis Kelce, no Tyreek Hill, couple defensive guys. Chris Jones still can't play. Snead is out. Line is
there's rumors. There's rumors that they were going to bump this to Monday night, though, too. Did you hear about that?
I would actually love that because I would rather them not play on Boxing Day.
Yeah, because there's rumors they're going to bump it to either Monday or Tuesday, and that would give a possibility for Tyreek to play. Yeah,
look, I don't want them to win because of injury or like silly protocols because Kalen will try and deface the entire win. But
win's a win.
Yeah, I'm happy if they want to move this thing. I don't know what the actual situation. The only Steelers player of note that is on the list right now is Devin Bush, and I'll be honest, he could probably use a game on the sideline watching the boys run around just so that he can get like acclimated with the defense a little bit more.
What about Turner? Offensive line.
As it goes down to 7.5 points, give me a reason why I shouldn't have taken the Steelers at plus 10, which I already did, but give me a reason why I shouldn't have.
It looks good on paper. With the way the Chiefs have been playing, like it's tough to go against them. They did only win in overtime last week. But the previous games before that looks like they won by 10, 4 weeks in a row. So the Chiefs are a scary animal right now. Like, everybody was writing them off early. Now they're just on a roll. So if they get hot and you guys get behind, I don't think you guys have the passing attack right now to keep up with them. So you'd really have to keep that game close. If it gets away from you early, then that scares me.
Yeah, you would have thought the same thing with the Chargers game and the Vikings game. And I mean, they worked themselves back into it. And I don't necessarily want to get into a shootout with the Kansas City Chiefs. That wouldn't be the ideal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think this is a Najee Harris, shorten the game, probably find a way to work Beanie Snell onto the field, and Patrick Mahomes turns a couple plays over, gives us a short field, and instead of field goals that we were able to beat the Titans with, they're going to need touchdowns to beat the Chiefs. That's got to be the difference.
Yeah, and I just saw an article here. Mahomes says he's confident in Josh Gordon if Hill can't go. So wouldn't that be a treat to see Josh Gordon come out and rip it up?
Look, I mean, Josh Gordon has been a fantastic player in the league for about 10 games. And I'm just telling you, the day after a holiday might not be the game that you want Josh Gordon to play. I mean, the guy's had some problems before. You know,
well, at least he won't test positive until Tuesday.
No, look, the applesauce might not cut it, and I think that this guy might be, getting into the eggnog there. I'm not sure if Josh Gordon's even making it to the field.
Well, that'd be good for you, but it would also burn your ass too if a Cleveland Brown came out and lit it up for you.
Is Josh Gordon considered a Cleveland Brown? I guess.
Well, I know that's what I had my most success with.
What else?
That's what I mean. I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I don't know. He's a Brown.
I remember when I made a trade back in the day where I traded who was that tight end for Green Bay? That was Jermichael Finley for Josh Gordon, and Josh Gordon went off for like 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. What a steal! And then Jermichael Finley got hurt like a week after that. It was awesome. But yeah, I don't know how much he's got left in his tank, but
Jermichael Finley was the guy that just never was, eh?
He was supposed to be so good.
Was supposed to be something.
He's like Julian Thomas almost. Julian Thomas, remember that? He had those really bright couple of years, and then down he goes.
yeah. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that the Steelers are going to beat the Chiefs. Do I think that Christmas magic can happen? Sure. If Patrick Mahomes ends up on the COVID list, that'd be sweet. But other than that, I think that 10.5 points was plenty, and I took it. So.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's we'll quickly go through some of the games that are going to be of note. I don't know if we're going to get into any of the college football stuff that we had, but biggest news out of college football, if we don't get there, was Calvin Slovis has decided to commit to Pitt. He just left USC. This guy was somebody that was supposed to be a first-round pick coming out of USC for this season. Obviously, the season didn't go the way they wanted. He ends up not playing as much. They fire their coach. Anyway, Bills and New England.
Yeah, big one.
That's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like I said this on Monday, and I say it even more emphatically. I think that this is a Bills game, and the Bills get the win. I'm not counting the Patriots out. I'm not downplaying the Patriots for the playoffs, but at this point, I think that the Bills take back control of the division.
Wow. I just can't bet against Bill at this point, man.
Well, it's curious. It's curious to see
though
how they bounce back from that loss. Because they look pretty flat in that game. So we'll see how he bounces back as a rookie quarterback that kind of had his first taste of a tough loss. I know he had ones early in the season, but they were on a roll there, kind of brought back down to earth on that one. So,
well, that's what I'll just say. What's the best way to protect your rookie quarterback after he's had a bad outing? You run the damn ball. And what did they do the last time they played the Bills? They only let him pass 3 times. So, like, they're going to pull that same stunt. Like, and Shane had joked about this. Mac's going to come out and probably throw it 60 to 70 times this game, and they're only run once the whole game. But, like, they've already proven they can run and protect their quarterback through the run. McDermott's a great coach. I'm sure he's going to do some adjustments to make sure that doesn't happen again. Specifically, we talked about they only ran 5 different running plays the entire game, and they ran the same 3 over 80% of the game. So they've certainly got to make a move to stop that. But they've been able to protect Mac the whole year. Mac has only had to take shots when he's really been asked to take shots. They really haven't asked him to do anything else outside of that. So that's why I just strongly believe that Bill, again, has just got the defense wrapped around the game plan. And listen, we'll get turnovers. You got Mr. Interception over there. JC Jackson's fucking amazing. He seems to show up everywhere. He's the better version of Diggs, in my opinion, because he doesn't bait quarterbacks. He just covers the receiver and seems to jump the route versus Trayvon Diggs is usually trailing behind a couple yards, making it look like he can't catch up. And maybe he catches up to it. Maybe he doesn't. And then it's a big touchdown catch or whatever. But
I'm big touchdown.
Yeah. I'm big on the Pats, man. I hate saying it. It's been a long 12, 15, 20 years of them being good, but it's just going to be another decade of this shit, I think.
The loss of Kendrick Bourne, I think, is going to be tough for Mac Jones. And I mean, it's not like Kendrick Bourne is a 1,000-yard receiver or a 100-catch kind of guy.
He's been good on third downs.
Yeah, he does do a lot of stuff, and he does convert a lot of third downs. And he's the guy that they're giving the ball in the end around. I think that it's going to hurt them. They might get Harris back, which is obviously a big boost for them. The way that the Patriots treated the Bills in Western New York is going to sit with the Bills in a tough state. And
Bills Mafia coming to get you.
I just think this is the time that the Bills are going to get hot. They are
They
kind
always
of
do
running
it.
the ball again, and they're a team that, as much as we've buried throughout the year, I still believe in them to make the Super Bowl. I don't believe in them to necessarily win the Super Bowl, especially if it comes down to a kicker, but that's more history dictating
Wide
it than
left.
anything else. Yeah. I don't know. This feels like a Bills one to me. I don't know. I know Kalen's rolling Patriots. I don't know where you're going, Rick. We could find out when you release your picks if you want.
I'm going Bills big time. I really think that I think that loss could be tough for them going back on the road. The Bills are like, I don't know, like you said, I think they're going to get hot at the right time. I know what New England's done is incredible this year, but I'm still not sold. I still take the Bills for sure.
All right. Well, we'll go. There's 3 other pretty big games that are going on, so we won't dig too deep in them. One of them is the Raiders game against the Broncos. Yeah, talk to me, Rick.
Oh God, I'm just happy it's not in Denver. That's all I can say. Because when we play in Denver, we just get the shit kicked out of us every time. So
looks like Drew Lock starting.
This is the engine they could with Denver. You know, just when you think they're gonna take a back seat, they seem to pull off a win. Personally, that was a tough hit by Teddy Bridgewater. I hope he's okay because Jesus, he was out cold on that one. But I'd still, if I had a choice, I would still want to give Drew Lock a try anyways. So, you know, Javonte Williams has been the horse in that team this year. Like, what a draft pick that's been for them. You know, they're a tough football team. They play good defense, and they seem to be fairly disciplined. And I just hope the Raiders can ride some momentum off of that win. I hope to God Darren Waller can come out and play. And I'm nervous about the game. I really am. Anytime we play anybody in our division, I'm nervous because it seems to either go one way or the other. Like, the games don't usually seem to be tight. It's like we either run away with it or we get our ass kicked. So I really hope that we pull it out. Like I said, I'm glad it's not in Denver, but you know, I'll shout out Hunter Renfrow, on pace for 1,000-yard season, 100 catches. That's looking to be a really, really big steal in the draft, considering what happened with Ruggs. And you know, to see Hunter Renfrow getting up to 1,000 yards, 10 catches, good for him, man, because he's saved our offense.
Yeah. You know, I think that the Broncos this year are kind of the Browns of last year. They can run the ball. They can play a little bit of defense. They're probably a scary team you don't want to play in the playoffs. Right now, I'd say there's probably a 50-50 chance for any of these AFC teams to get in. And a lot of it might ride on the fact of this Bengals and Ravens game that's coming down here. So, Bengals Ravens in Cincinnati. I never believe in the Bengals when it comes to the big one. The fact that Lamar Jackson hasn't practiced all week leads me to believe he's not playing. And I think that the Ravens offense has looked way better without him.
Yeah, and that guy's special.
I kind of believe that if they can get any healthy corner play in Baltimore, that this is probably going to be a Baltimore close victory. But the way that the defense is currently constructed in Baltimore, if they start chucking it up in the air the way Cincinnati wants to do, this one might get ugly for Baltimore.
You know, you said it right there. They got a good corner play. They don't have good corners right now. They're all 3 of their corners are out, right? Like the whole top row. Like, you can't play defense like that. And their pass rusher, I think there was their main pass rusher out this week too. I can't remember who that is, right? But I think somebody big on their defense as far as their edge rushing is out as well. You don't have corners that can take at least stick up all the pass rush isn't very good. I mean, that's going to be even worse for you. I don't know, man. Listen. You know, I've loved the Bengals all year, and I've really hyped them up. This is a game they need to win it. They can win it. It is on their side. Everything as far as like health and the way the team is playing is on their side. Is it going to be a shootout? I think it is going to be a shootout, but I still think that the Bengals win by 10 or 14 points here. But I do think it's going to be 30, 40 something kind of score.
I'm a big believer of Joe Burrow. I love watching the guy play. For how young and inexperienced he is, and have that big injury already. This guy looks very sure of himself, and I really love watching him play. I'd have a hard time taking Baltimore this week, even though Huntley's played good. Lamar Jackson's still Lamar Jackson. So not having him in the lineup against Joe Burrow, I'd be really blown away if they were to pull that off. I think this is gonna be a big game for Joe Burrow. I think he's gonna light it up with those corners out. I'm calling for like a 350-yard game, 3-4 touchdowns. Let's go.
Damn.
Ooh.
Okay, so the boys are all on the Bengals. I don't know. It's been a weird year. It feels like every time something should happen in a certain way, it just doesn't happen. So that's the way that I'm holding out hope for Pittsburgh. That's the way I'm holding out a little bit of hope for Baltimore because it helps us out a little bit. What about the Rams and the Vikings? This is a pretty underrated matchup, I think.
Yeah, it really is for sure. And this is one of those games where just when you think the Vikings are starting to look all right, they'll go lay a fucking egg, guaranteed.
Yep.
Like I get to see the Vikings showing up, not scoring at all in the first half here, and the Rams getting a few touchdowns, and the game being over before it starts. I hope it doesn't for Mitch because he's rooting hard for the Vikings, and I always go for the Vikings as well. But I got a bad feeling about this game.
Maybe we need to get we need to get Mitch that Vikings GF2 hat at Kalen's house because that might give him a little bit of good luck to push it over the top for him. Because those guys made those nice for us.
That's sick. Nice. I'm sure it would love it.
This is that game that I actually think that the Vikings can win. It's like the weird ones, like where they should win it or should be a blowout. They don't do it, and then the games that it should be closer, or they should be losing. They tend to play to their competition. Yep. I think it's going to be another close game because those teams I think are very, very evenly matched between the two of them. But Dalvin Cook being out, man, it's tough. It's going to be tough to win that game, man, for sure.
Oh yeah, you're missing your best two of your best players.
They won a couple games without him, and the way that the Rams even won against Seattle, it wasn't like a dominant performance. I think that I don't know. I have a gut feeling that the Rams are going to win that division, which makes me believe that they're going to win this game. Because I think Arizona is going to beat the Colts as well. So I don't know. I'm just siding with the Rams again. Let's just go home team stuff. Now, I want to know how concerned we are about the Bucs here because we did talk about it with Chad. Chad's a Bucs fan, and I think Chad was a little. He sensed the panic in his voice, but not like the panic button being pressed. Evans is hurt. Godwin is out for what we think is the season. It should be the season. Fournette, no chance he's coming back. The way that Brady played against.
He could regular season. He could come. Yeah, he could come back playoffs, but it's a hamstring. We see what's happening with Julio. It's just going to stick around forever.
So just one question.
Go ahead.
Is Brady hurt?
He didn't. I don't know. Maybe.
No. I'm being sarcastic. Is he hurt? No, he's not. So they're going to be fine. The only reason that happened last week is because their whole starting offense pretty much was gone. You didn't get a chance to practice with these guys all week. You give Brady a week practice with those guys, I don't care who the hell's playing wide receiver, they're going to smash the Carolina Panthers.
Okay, so yeah, that was going to be my question because right now they're favored by 10 points with our friends over there at Coolbet. And I saw that and I was like, man, that's one of those things that you definitely think that they're going to cover this. But last Saturday, I was sitting there with Chad, and we were talking about the Saints game. He's like, "Yeah, if I were you, I would take the Saints plus 11.5. I just can't do it because I'm a fan." I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I respect that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a couple sprinkles on that and see what kind of cake I get out of it." But he was right, and right now he's not too confident about them covering 10. So I wanted someone to tell me why they're going to cover 10. Antonio Brown's back. I think their defense is getting a boost a little bit against the Panthers.
Yeah, the defense needs to step up. Defense needs to step up, and I think this is a perfect game for them to do it. They know that the offense is reeling. A lot of young guys on the other side of the ball. Ronald Jones still looked good when he came in, 7 yards a carry. He's obviously terrible in pass protection. That's what I saw this week, and that's really why he hasn't been playing at all because his pass protection is just awful. So hopefully they can figure that out a little bit. But like I said, we've seen this over the years, 20 some odd years now, where Brady makes fourth and fifth receivers look good. He's done it everywhere he's been with different guys. Like I said, you give him a full week of practice with Stanley Johnson, Scotty Miller, and Antonio Brown again back in there, and don't forget Gronk is there still. I really think they're going to be okay. If they were playing somebody of a higher stature, I would be a little bit worried. But come on, it's Carolina here. Like, we know, like, come on, Cam Newton's going to get destroyed by that Bucs defense. So I'm not really concerned about it at all.
All right. 2 quick points before we go. Huge weekend for the Goin for 2 league semifinals right now. I am playing Aiden. Chelsea is playing in the other semifinal. She's probably a little bit more focused on the Scotties and the Olympics, but who is she playing, Kayla? Or Liam, sorry? Are you? Oh, you're playing Chelsea in the semis?
No, I lost.
Beat me. Didn't you just beat me, Rick?
I lost to Aiden. Oh, that's your buddy, the Raiders fan.
Okay. So that's James. So James is playing. So big semifinals. We'll see how that thing goes. Obviously, our Richard Seymour League. All of us are in that too.
Except for me, but
semis. I'm playing. Well, yeah. We're in that league. You just happen to fall short. I got Josh.
After week 5.
He's got Mitch.
I'm playing Mitch. Yeah, I'm playing Brady's bunch of oats.
Mitch got crushed by the COVID list, so let's see how.
He's doing quite okay. Don't you worry.
He still put up 130 points last week if he had been playing with all those injuries. So
okay, let's round up. Are we rounding up here? He put up 122. Okay, I need 123 this week.
There is a possibility
you're going down.
That Kalen and I will be playing each other in a final for next week, so that should add a little bit of intrigue to next week. Last point that I want to make, and I want to get your opinion. It has to be quick because we're just about to go overtime. The NCAA College Football Playoff Committee has said that forfeits are going to happen if people don't protect themselves, isolate, whatever. They will forfeit teams instead of replace teams, and they are comfortable making a forfeit national championship. And I want to know how you guys feel about that. Really quickly.
That's worse than like deciding the Stanley Cup in a shootout. Like, let's come on, man. You gotta what is there like a fifth? There's like 500 teams. There's got to be another replacement to step up. Like, come on.
If there's one other organization
replacing teams.
If there's one other organization in the world, like sports organization in the world that does whatever the hell they want to do besides the NFL, it's the NCAA. I cannot believe that they are bending over and allowing a forfeiture championship.
But they would miss out. They miss out on so much money. Yeah. They miss out on so much money without playing that game. I don't get that at all. They're all about money, so it makes no sense to me.
Look, at this point, there's no issues in any of the programs, and I mean that's good shape. They said that they're willing to extend it from the 10th to somewhere around the 14th if it came down to it. The biggest catastrophe would be if the national championship game is not played on the 10th. Then we are fucked because we are planning our 100th episode around that game. So the committee needs to pull their shit together. They need to make sure that game happens at that point, because if not, all this planning is for nothing.
Can we
just lock them all in a room for 2 weeks?
Have him call down there and see what the hell's going on.
Well, look, I think that Nick Saban's already announced that they're taking care of themselves, and Michigan's locked themselves down. Look, these guys are taking care of themselves. There's no reason to believe that. There was a couple bowl games canceled, and that's why it was brought out. It wasn't that there was something that was happening. But let's see how she goes.
Give the Calgary Flames a call. They know how to handle COVID, apparently.
Yeah. Perfect way to sign off. Anyways, boys, make sure we're checking out the Instagram, Facebook, Twitch page, YouTube. Chad is always out there dropping our podcasts on Spotify, the website, taking care of all that. If you haven't checked out Liam's write-up on Formula One, it'll give you a little bit of insight on what Formula One is and how they make their money. So definitely go check that out. And most importantly,
you can make money. Don't forget to go to Cool Bet, right?
Oh, I mean, I've been wearing their hat the whole time. They don't. This is what you get if you bet on afternoon bowl games during Christmas season.
Yep. Check out next Wednesday. We'll cover the World Juniors again with me, and we'll get back to football after that. Yeah.
Most importantly, boys, have a good Christmas. Take care of the families. We will we'll catch up